If you're going to learn anything from this video, you need to learn how to create content topic pillars that you talk about beyond your product so you can connect to your right ideal audience. When you do this, that's how you don't get engagement, that's how you don't connect with people, and that's how not a lot of people really take notice, because you're just selling your thing. You're not giving any value, right? So why would I listen to you if you're not giving me any value to my life? You're not adding anything to my life. But developing pillars, which are content topics that you use throughout your social media while you're creating new content, it will help you create relationships, create connection. It will complement what you're currently selling, and it will connect with your ideal audience, because it has to be something that you like speaking about, but your ideal audience likes reading about. Catch their attention. My name is Nickia, and I built a six-figure business my first year. I came from a $12 per hour job, and now help others build their own profitable product-based store. So here in this video is going to be for you, especially if you've been thinking about starting an online store, or you currently have an online store and you're trying to figure out what the heck you should post. This is for you, especially when you're running out, right? Because you're like, okay, well, I'm just posting my products and I'm running out of what to say. This is gonna help you so much. Okay, so let's develop your first content pillar topic. The question I'm gonna ask you is, what annoys you? What do you want people to stop doing? Or what are people thinking in their head, but they're not saying it out loud? You know what I'm talking about. That thing where you're like, oh yes, girl, like so true. I do this a lot in my content, and a lot of people relate to it, where they would reach out to me wondering what the heck I do, what products I sold. And it's a very powerful thing, because when people connect with you, they're gonna reach out. They're gonna click on your link. They're gonna wonder what you're selling, because they're like, okay, she's caught my attention. Who is this person? And so when you go beyond just selling a product and you start sharing stories, you start sharing real thoughts that are very powerful, it catches people's attention, because not everyone's doing that, right? Everyone's just like, buy my thing, but they're not focusing on the parts that connects with people, that riles people up. And that's the goal of this part. So in my content, I tend to talk a lot about not listening to people's opinions and listening to yourself, and not just going by what people say, because a lot of my success was from that. So I share a lot of stories around that. I share a lot of stuff around opinion. A lot of people relate to that. We have all went through that, listening to other people's opinion. This is something that I talk about over and over. So that pillar, whatever that topic that you choose, it has to be something that you can handle talking about over and over, and you're passionate about it. Like when you talk about it, you get riled up, you get inspired to talk about it, draws people in, right? But as you keep on talking about it, you'll know, right? Because none of these pillars, I want to make clear, is gonna be like stuck in stone. Like you're gonna refine it, you're gonna edit it, you're gonna change it around, because you're gonna see what people like when you talk about certain things. Examples. Let's say you talked about the necessary opinions, and the angle you could take, especially with a product-based business, is you could talk about not caring what other people think. Like when you wear something, whatever that clothing is, and you wear what's true to you. You wear what's right for you. It doesn't matter what other people think. If you like wearing leggings, you wear leggings, and that's the something that you're selling leggings, right? And so imagine if you create a brand around leggings, and you're like, hey, like I should be fine with wearing leggings without being judged, right? I don't need to wear jeans or dress pants to where I'm going, right? So you can create stories around that and share your stories about like why you believe unnecessary opinions are actually unnecessary. So this is a fat shaming topic. So let's say you're selling certain type of clothing, and you want to really focus on telling people that, hey, no matter what size you are, you should be able to be comfortable in whatever clothing you decide to wear. It does not matter what size you are, right? It doesn't matter if you don't fit in that size that you did 2 years ago. It's okay to feel comfortable going up a size and being comfortable in what you wear. Imagine if you shared stories about your self-esteem and how you got to those thoughts, like how you got to these type of topics of fat shaming, and saying, hey, like I used to, you know, it depends what your story is, but hey, I used to not feel comfortable with my body. I used to always wear certain type of clothes because I felt like I couldn't find any clothes for my size. And then it was only until I started being comfortable with who I am where I realized I just need to find the right type of clothing that just fits me and not feel bad that I can't fit into a size 2 anymore. You're developing stories around the topics that you choose that you feel people will relate to, depending on what your brand message is, depending on the type of products you're selling. There's a lot of factors. I believe that you should choose a topic that riles you up, that you're very passionate about. And it doesn't have to directly relate to the product. It could be just a topic in general that you want to share over and over again, that you feel that people are being drawn to, that are buying your products. So it doesn't have to directly correlate to your product. It could just be opinions. People love opinions. People love when people are real. It could be simple as not listening to yourself, and you start talking about being a real you and being happy to wear pigtails, being happy to wear the hair you want to wear, being happy to wear funky headbands and funky accessories and not being ashamed of it. And so you could talk about the aspect of how you got to that point, share different stories, different moments where you got to the point where you learned to listen to yourself. People listen because everyone goes through that. So this is about talking about a topic that you're passionate about. It could be anything. It could be you talking about fitness and self-care and you wanting to take care of your body. Even if you're selling a certain type of product, you could still talk about regular topics that you would talk about with a friend and that resonates. On to developing the second pillar. What could they learn from you that they would get value from based on what you're selling? Don't forget, it could be indirect too. But in this part, you really want to appear as an expert, right? So you really want to share things around your product that's related to your product. So for example, if you have a clothing business, maybe you're giving styling tips. Surprisingly, people assume that people just know how to style their clothing, but imagine if you're giving styling tips on how to wear that clothing, ideas on different ways to wear that clothing, because the more value you give, the more people are prone to buy, because you're giving them ideas and now they feel more comfortable because they're like, oh, I can like wear this in different ways, right? So there's so many angles that you could take this. Even teach about inner beauty, like it's powerful, and telling them that the more confidence you feel in here, the more confidence you feel outwards, right? The more confident the more you feel better when you wear a certain type of clothing, as opposed to when you don't feel good in here. So you could talk about so many aspects of confidence and inner beauty and being comfortable in who you are. Like there's so many angles that you could take that's emotional but also physical and educated point of view. If you have a skincare line, you could talk about self-care or caring for your body along those lines. Talk about the benefits of your product, using the products. You could share like, what's the outcome? Like, what's the result they're gonna get from using their product? Are they gonna get creamy, gooey skin? Are they gonna see that dry, scaly skin flying away because they started using that product? How are they gonna feel, right? Are they gonna get a new type of confidence? They're gonna feel like a new person? You could really share that, because we always assume that people know, but sometimes you have to remind them of where they can be and make them realize that they don't have that result that you're offering yet, and make them realize, oh, they need your product in order to get that result. So if you had a wig company, for example, you can share how to maintain those wigs. You can share how to put those wigs on, how to take them off, how to style them. So you really want to position yourself as a educator. Like, I can't tell you the amount of businesses I see that don't take the time to do that. They don't show you how to wear it. So then as a person that's a beginner, they're gonna probably drool while looking at the styles, but sometimes they're not gonna buy it because they don't feel like they're gonna be able to wear your product or rock your product the right way. So there's something about educating them from that aspect. You're always going to be in that state of mind where you're trying to figure out what do they want to learn, right? But your goal is that you want to share things that makes them feel like they're ready for a transformation. You want to inspire them to get a transformation. You want to make them feel like, oh, okay, I could do this too. Like, I can get that product and get that same result. You want to make it as easy as possible. You want to tackle those objections. That's what they are. You're tackling the objections. Any objection that they have in their mind, you're telling them, no, you can do it too. I just showed you. I showed you in 10 steps. A transformation pillar. So this is all about taking them on a journey of transformation. So you want to share a story that shows where you came from and where you are now. Even if you just start a business, because that's still a transformation. A lot of people don't start. A lot of people don't take action to get to a better them. A lot of people don't take action to get that product that will change their life because they've spent so much before then that they don't want to take any more risk. So you want to inspire them enough so they just want to jump. The transformational story is usually a before, like where you were before and where you are now. So it's a story that would help them connect to you, relate to you, get to know you better. So this doesn't need to be product related. I have done a video of how I got started and did 275K my first year, but a lot of it was sharing my story of how I went from a $12 hour minimum job and lost my job and started this whole business, and it changed my whole life. And I share that story over and over in different ways, different angles, different moments. I'm sharing different aspects of it because there was so much, right? And people don't get tired of listening to those stories. People like hearing stories like that because it inspires them. So you need to find a story and multiple stories that inspires people. You want to be sharing moments of your life so they relate to you, they feel like they know you, they feel like you're their friend. You ever had that where you're online and you feel like you know the person more than they know you, but you feel like if you were to talk to that person online, you'd be like, I already know you, girl. Like, I feel like you're my best friend right now. Like, that's the type of relationship you want to develop. You want to focus on the moments where you're challenged and you overcame that challenge. So for example, maybe a lot of people were telling you not to start your wig business. They're telling you, oh, don't do it. Like, you're not going to be successful. Stay in that job. And oh, you're unhappy? No, stay there because it doesn't make sense to do anything else beyond that because you need to pay your rent. You need to make money, right? So you could talk about that transformation, how you got there. Explain the steps of how you got from A to B. So focus on a transformational pillar where it's a way for you to just connect. Still selling your products, you're still doing call to actions, but what's different is you're learning to connect, you're learning to relate, you're learning to build relationship while you're selling your product. You're learning to get an engaged audience. You're learning to inspire people to take action. You're learning to take people from a transformational point and inspire them enough to believe that they're ready for your product, to overcome objection, right? Because when you're just focusing on buy my product, people will have objections, they'll have reservations. So the goal here is just to build relationship, inspire them enough to reach out because they feel like you're so real. They feel like you have their best interests of heart. And who doesn't want to buy from someone who doesn't have their best interests? And this is what you call know, like, and trust. You want to build know, like, and trust.